Most people trying to make $10,000 a month online are working harder than they need to, and they're trading hours for dollars, burning out on client work, and wondering why it never scales. I'm going to show you 4 ways I make more than $10,000 each month. And it's not theory. These are real businesses I'm running right now, and each one uses a different type of leverage. Now, this concept of leverage comes from someone I deeply respect, Naval Ravikant. He's an investor and a philosopher, and he talks about 4 forms of leverage that separate people who grind from people who scale. Those 4 levers are media, capital, labor, and code. And in this video, I'm going to show you how I use each one in a real business to get past $10,000 a month. And at the end, I'm going to break down how to structure an offer so you can actually charge what these models require. But let's draw this out. The first lever is media. This is the one most people have heard of, but very few actually use correctly. Here's how this works in my life. I have a personal brand back in Hungary where I have built a significant following, and I use that media, that audience, as the engine that drives everything. The model is simple. I create content, that content builds an audience, and that audience feeds into an offer. In this case, I run productized agencies, coaching programs, or courses. And then I deliver the results that I actually talk about in my content. I call this the personal brand machine. You have a content, you build an infrastructure around it, and then you have an offer that you sell through your content and through your infrastructure. These are the 3 main pillars, and I actually have an entire program teaching this framework because it's the foundation of how any personal brand becomes a business. And here's where leverage really kicks in. In the beginning, you're the one coaching or servicing the offer. You're delivering everything yourself. But media is the lever that lets you reach thousands of people without working harder. Because one video can bring in 10 clients or 100. And the effort to create that video is the same whether 10 people watch it or 10,000 people watch it. And that's the power of media as a leverage. And then you start stacking levers. You hire coaches to deliver, you hire people to service your offer, you productize your coaching into systems and assets, and now you've added labor and code on top of media. And that's when you stop trading time for money. But it starts here, media, content. Building an audience that trusts you. If you're just getting started and you want to hit $10,000 a month, this is the path with the lowest barrier to entry. But keep in mind, it's not easy and you consistently have to do it for it to pay off. But once you have that audience, you will be able to sell anything and anything whatsoever to a really loyal audience of yours. Now let's look at the second lever. This is where you combine media with people together. Now here's the scenario. I work with big established creators. People with millions of followers that have an audience, they have the reach, but what they don't have is the operational infrastructure that turn that attention into a business. And that's where my company, the Creators League Agency, comes in. We are the operator. We come in as a growth partner and we build the entire digital business for them. What does that actually look like? We create their content strategy. We hire and structure their marketing team. We build their product ecosystems, courses, their high-ticket programs, their coaching programs, their productized agencies or digital products, whatever makes sense. And we architect the entire business, and then we advise the team on how to execute it. Think of it like this. They have the capital and the audience, right? Which is the capital and the media. We deploy the A team. The leverage here is that we're working with someone who already has tens of millions of subscribers or followers across multiple platforms. We don't need to build the audience. We need to build a machine that actually monetizes their already existing audience. This is a high-level consultancy and management offer. It's not a $2,000 a month retainer. This is a partnership where the revenue potential is enormous because the audience is already there. So it's easier to monetize because you already have leads coming in. And here's the thing. The same framework works at any scale. The way I build out a creator with 30 million followers is the same way I would approach building out a brand with 30,000 followers because the architecture is identical. You have content, you have an infrastructure, and then you have the offer. The personal brand machine works at every level, and the difference is the size of the lever you're pulling. The third lever is labor combined with capital. And I know that might sound a little bit old school, but let me show you how this works in our case in 2026. On top of content strategy and actual content that personal brands record, we have an AI content division. We create AI-generated advertisements, digital influencers, and content using the latest generative AI models. And this is some cutting-edge stuff. Large institutions, real estate developers come to us and say, hey, we have a marketing message. We want 10 different AI influencers delivering that message in 10 different ways. Now, I don't sit down and make those 10 AI influencers myself. That's not how this works. The leverage here is labor, which is people. And I have a team I work with. I have 2 scriptwriters who craft the messaging for the brands. I have 3 generative editors, 1 who actually specializes in AI tools, and 2 who are expert video editors. And together with this team of 5, we can fulfill this entire order. And you're right asking, where does the capital come in? Well, these bigger institutions, agencies do have a lot of capital, so we can offer them tens of thousands of dollars monthly recurring for their big message to be distributed across different kind of platforms. The client has the capital, they're paying for the output. My job is to deploy the right people to deliver that output and result. The capital comes in as a recurring contract, and I use human talent to fulfill it. This is the power of labor as leverage. And you're not doing the work yourself, you're building a team that can deliver at scale that you never could do alone. And when that team gets efficient, your margin grows without your hours growing. The fourth lever is code. And this is the one that I think most people underestimate. Remember that AI agency I just told you about? The one where we're creating AI advertisements and digital influencers? Right. Now we're building a software that productizes the entire operation. What does that mean? It means we're taking every step of our fulfillment process and systemizing it. The scripting, the generation, the client communication, the editing, the entire delivery. And we're turning it into a software, a productized offer, basically, a software product. Instead of needing 5 people to fulfill one order, the software will handle a chunk of it automatically. And this is the ultimate leverage. Code works while you sleep. It doesn't need breaks. It doesn't call in sick. Once it's built, the marginal cost of serving one more client approaches 0. And here's the key insight. I didn't start with the code. I started with people doing the work manually. I understood the process first, then I productized it. If you try to build a software before you understand the operation, you will automate the wrong things. But when you combine code with the other levers, when you have media driving awareness, capital funding the operation, labor handling what software cannot, and code automating what people shouldn't have to do manually, that's when you don't just hit $10,000 months, you blow past it. And that's how we're actually closing over $80,000 months right now. But if I put that in the title, you probably wouldn't click it because your mindset might be far from believing that you're capable of it. But let me tell you, 1 year ago, my mindset was way, way far from believing that. And just in 12 months, I'm actually able to capitalize on all the leverage that I'm explaining to you in this video. But none of this matters if you don't know how to structure an offer that actually commands $10,000 a month. So let me break down the math and the thinking. First, the math. $10,000 a month can look very, very different depending on what industry you are in and how you structure your offer. You could have 2 clients paying you $5,000 each. You can have 5 clients paying you $2,000 each month. You can have 10 clients paying you $1,000 or 1 client that pays you $10,000. The math dictates your entire model. If you need 20 clients at $500, that means you will have a lot more labor to do and you might not have a business, you might have a job. So how do you create an offer worth $2,000, $5,000 or $10,000? The answer is you sell transformation and not your hours. Nobody pays $5,000 for a coaching call. They pay $5,000 because you're going to help them achieve a specific outcome. Your offer has to be outcome based. For example, you can say, I will help you build your first $10,000 month is worth more than I will give you 4 calls a month, obviously, because your audience is thinking, what's in it for me? The result is what people pay for. The delivery method is just the container. And here's how leverage connects to your offer. If you're using media, your content pre-sells the transformation. People come to you already believing that you can actually deliver what you're talking about. If you're using labor, you can promise a bigger outcome because you have a team behind you and you have that leverage of labor. If you're using code, you can deliver more efficiently, which means you will have higher margins on every single client. Now, you can price your offer to need fewer clients and not more. And that's how you build a business instead of buying yourself a job. Unless you're building a SaaS company, which is a completely different business model. Let me zoom out and show you the full picture that I talked about. We have 4 main leverages: media, capital, labor, and code. I use all 4 across different businesses and each one generates more than $10,000 a month for me. But here's what I want you to take away. You don't need all 4 to start with. You need 1. Pick the lever that matches where you are right now. If you have a skill and no audience, then start with media. Start building an audience, build content, grow a following, launch a coaching offer or some type of help for one specific client profile. That would be lever 1. If you have an operational skill and you can manage teams, find a creator or find a business that needs growth, more time on software, and help them do that. If you can build a small team around a specialized service, find a big client and deliver at scale. That would be lever 3. And if you understand a process deeply enough to automate it, then build a software. You can use Cloud Code and AI right now and basically vibe code an entire software in a couple of days. The mistake most people make is they're trying to scale with effort instead of leverage, and they work more hours instead of pulling a bigger lever. So don't make that mistake. If you want to learn more about the personal brand machine framework and what we do that I mentioned in my video, how to build content, how to build offer and infrastructures into a system that runs without you, I have an entire program on that. You can find a link in the description to book a call with me or my team. And if this video gave you clarity on which lever to pull next and how to apply leverage, hit subscribe because it will help my channel grow. And in this channel, I break down the exact systems behind how I build businesses that are not just theory, but how I actually do it. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.